The planing was basically an experiment to see how smooth I could get the wood. And it's pretty smooth, but this wood is grainy. It's a mountain ash or a Tassie oak. The grain's pretty straight in this wood here, but still leaves a bit of marks. It is still up around, 220, 240 plus in sanding just from using the block plane. It's definitely flat, and most of this wood will disappear as we get through the project. Okay, so this rider plane is basically based on Pask makes rider plane, so I'll put a link down in the description and possibly up in the cards. Let's see how we go if I remember. But you can Google it. Pask makes, Australian woodworker, makes lots of crazy stuff, has his scrap wood challenge. So this is his template that he's amended after he's tried to build it. I'm just going to glue it on with a glue stick, and we'll get on with the project. Now the grain runs this way, so rather than push the grain across the wood like this, I'm going to push the plane this way to allow it to run better. So therefore we'll line the template up with the grain running long ways. Okay, and marking knife. Just going to mark the center of this hole. To drill that out on the drill press. Okay, so I'm about to slice the rider plane approximately like this on a 35-degree angle. So quick math, if I go up 55 and in 83, that should equal 35. So let's mark that out. Adjust this to turn the ruler around so that we can use it this way. So 55 is there. So we'll go up 55. We'll mark this spot. In the corner, and that's okay because this thing's going to be rounded. Okay, and 83. For 83. The wrong way, but that is all right. So 83 here comes to a point there. And now I will just connect up these lines here to here. And we'll mark them using the marking knife that we made in a previous video. Okay, so that should be a 35-degree angle, or very close. I'm just going to extend the lines here. Extend the line down so I can see where the saw is meant to come out. And I'll extend the line down here. Turn this around and line it up. Oops. couple lines here, unfortunately. That's okay. There. Okay, I could do this with my back saw, but my back saw is very dull. So I use my fingers, which are behind the saw blade, so you can't see them, as a guide. Okay, so on this, we're going to be using a 12mm router, which seems a bit short. Sorry, that's a 6mm chisel to make a 6mm router. The other option is a 12mm, which we may go with. Okay, so another two old chisels that I have an option of using. This one will probably be good. That's a 13mm, which is a 1/2 inch. This one, I just make the hole slightly bigger when I chop this off, because I need to be able to push it deeper into the wood, and probably not much more than that. So this 6mm will be all right. This 13 also would be fine. So let's go that we're going to use this chisel on this 13mm. Basically, we're going to find about center, although it's not crucial where the center is. Helpful. So this should be, it is 124. So therefore, 62. There's 62. We just reference 62, and we'll put a mark with the marking knife down where 62 is. Okay. And what are we using? A 13mm chisel. Let's just go back 6mm to 67.5. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. So 67.5, which is marked on the back. This should be the outside edge of this chisel. So we'll describe a line along there, and that's where we're going to put one edge of our chisel. You know, it would be ideal to do this is a router plane. Unfortunately, this is going to be a router plane. All right, so what we're going to do, I will chisel in the wall on there, and then I will use the chisel itself to mark where it is after I deepen this line. Okay, so on our knife line, I'm just gonna thicken it up a bit with another chisel. And then I'm going to set this chisel against it. I just take a bit out of here. This is actually very hard wood. Registered against the knife wall, and let's mark Easier said than done. Marking the other side of the chisel. I'll just join this line with the straight edge. Use this chisel, but first I just want to make the knife walls bigger, and then we'll chisel out what's there. Okay, so should be able to knock out a bit of this wood to the knife wall, and then it'll help make it easier to chisel out the center. Basically need to get it deep so that this sits flush. Okay, this is not the ideal position for chiseling, but we'll see how we go. Use the narrower chisel for now so I can make sure I don't blow the walls out and keep that tight on the first chisel. Okay, so a bit of a mess going on here. This was plain smooth on the bottom. I've kind of filled this groove with a bit of extra glue and now some wood filler. I'll sand it and then check that it's fair. Basically, these lines in here, although they're fine, and this would be much smaller, they still felt a bit rough, although it was 100% sort of flat and true. Anyway, so I added some wood filler. We've got it apart, and basically I need to glue it back together now so that when I turn it over, I can drill this hole. So I'm just going to use a hot glue gun, put a couple dabs of glue. We'll do our drilling and our cutting and shaping, and then eventually we'll pry it back apart and finish the project. Okay, not much glue because this stuff sticks very well. So we'll just line it up best we can. Give that glue a couple minutes to set, and we'll drill the hole and cut out the shape of our rudder plane. Okay, so I've got some zinc coated M6 bolts. They might be a bit long, but that's okay. I had lots of stainless steel bolts, and they didn't have any metric ones at the hardware store. My stainless steel bolts are imperial, but my tap and die set here is metric, so that presents a problem. I'm going to do a test tap in the same piece of wood, the same type of wood, but not the router plane itself, just to make sure it's going to work. Okay, so my chisel is going to go in here. I've thought about cutting off the handle. I may give it a go without cutting off the handle, just to see if it's balanced enough to use. If not, I'll cut the handle off and just use the chisel. So we'll put the chisel in, bevel up. We would set the depth that we can go about 5/8 of an inch deep, but let's set it a bit shorter. And there it is. Okay, I used a bit of super glue inside that hole, wet all the threads. And let's just wipe some of that off. So that should reinforce it and make it a bit stronger. The only thing left now really is to put some wax on the outside. It's got its boiled linseed oil coating. I'll give it a coat of wax, give the workshop a bit of cleanup, and then we'll actually put the rudder plane into use after this super glue has a few minutes to dry.